Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another ChromeOS related video. This time around we are going to be revisiting Google's prototype CR-48 Chromebook from December of 2010. This right here is a pretty fascinating piece of ChromeOS history because it was the very first piece of hardware that was sent out to reviewers in a pilot program. And now I made a video on this thing back in 2021, and ever since then I've kind of had this idea of trying to restore this machine back to its original software version because it's currently running a version of ChromeOS from 2017. And I was reminded of that recently when I made my video on trying to put ChromeOS Flex on the Chromebook Pixel, because the official ChromeOS recovery tool still has an option for restoring the CR-48. And then I received a couple comments from some of you guys asking me to try that out on video, and well, that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. But the thing is, I don't think that this method is going to put the CR-48 here back to its original OS version. I think it's more than likely going to set it back to the latest version of ChromeOS that this thing is capable of running. But either way, we're going to find out, and if it doesn't set us back to the original OS version, I was able to find an old ChromeOS recovery image from 2011 that we're going to try to manually install on this thing, which, yeah, it won't be the original OS release, but it will still be pretty early, and it'll be neat to compare that to how ChromeOS looks today, because it is vastly different, I mean, from what I remember messing around with ChromeOS a little bit back then. So let's go ahead and switch over to my Windows computer and get this process started. And here we are with the Chromebook recovery utility opened up. This is something you can get from the Chrome Web Store. And I've got a 16 gig USB drive plugged in. So we'll click on Get Started. And we're just going to select model from list and choose Google as the manufacturer. And then Google CR-48. There it is. So we'll click on Continue. We'll choose our USB drive. Click continue, and then it's going to create the recovery image. Although, what are the advanced options? Let's see. Okay, we can choose a recovery channel. There's only stable, so that doesn't really matter. But yeah, there's nothing in here about like what, I mean, I guess this right here might be the version number. Yeah, that's the platform version, and this is a release of ChromeOS from 2017, which very well might be the version it's running right now. Yeah, would you look at that? We're currently running platform 9000.82, which is older than what we're currently burning to the USB drive, so this is a little bit out of date, but it's not like that newer version is going to really make much of a difference because this hardware is just not supported anymore. You see, they try to encourage you to upgrade there. Now that I think about it, I wonder how ChromeOS Flex would function on this thing. Maybe that's another video idea, but let's just try to burn that older image manually and see what we can do. So when I was looking for recovery images online for this thing, I came across chrome100.dev, which just looks like it's got a repository of a whole bunch of ChromeOS recovery images. And if you do a search on this page for the CR-48, you can click on See More, but you'll notice here that the earliest release they have was modified in February of 2015. So that's only a couple years older than the latest version that you can get from the ChromeOS recovery utility. But I was able to use the Wayback Machine to pull up this old recovery page for the CR-48 from 2011. And this has a whole guide of, what you're supposed to go through to restore your CR-48 back to factory settings. And they have a link here to a recovery image, and if you click on that, they do have it archived. It's from July 21st, 2012. So I initially thought it was from 2011 just from the date of this page, but the actual file is from 2012. And when you download that, you get an archive file, you extract that, and you get this bin file. And we should be able to just use a tool like Win32 Disk Imager to write this to the USB drive, but we will have to change the file extension here to .img, which shouldn't affect anything. In fact, the guide here just tells you that you might have to manually rename the image file to end in IMG to use a tool like Win32 Disk Imager with it. So with that downloaded, we're just going to browse for the file, which will be on our desktop in this folder. There it is. So we'll open that up, and drive K is the 16 gig USB drive that I've got plugged in. So we'll click on Write, and we'll see if this works. Right after a quick word from today's sponsor, Boot.dev. If you've ever been even a little bit curious about programming, they have what I think is the coolest way to learn. Their entire platform is designed as if it were a role-playing game. You've got quests to complete, XP to earn, even a leaderboard to compete on, all while learning back-end web development through their 2 main learning paths. But you can also take their courses individually, and they've got a lot of them that are constantly being updated. Now look, I'm no programmer. I only messed around in Eclipse one time and just ended up cobbling a bunch of other people's code together to make a Minecraft plugin. But with boot.dev, you actually feel like you're learning something, because they take the time to go beyond the fundamentals with in-depth guidance on what you'll be doing, with the end goal of getting you used to writing a ton of code while working on real projects without getting bored. On top of that, boot.dev is backed by a 30-day no questions asked refund policy, and every course is available to view for free before you subscribe to a membership, which you can do by clicking the link below. And make sure to use code MichaelMJD at checkout to get 25% off your first payment. So be sure to check them out, and huge thanks again to boot.dev for making this video possible. So the restore process, from what I've read, is actually very straightforward, because all you have to do is just, of course, plug in the USB drive. So that's going to be on the right side here. So we'll do that. And then if you lift up the CR-48, there's this little reset button right here that you have to press in with a paper clip before turning on the machine. So I'm going to press that down and then press the power button. And then it boots up to this screen where it actually tells us to remove all USB and SD devices. So I guess we'll unplug the USB drive, and then please connect a recovery device. Okay, so I guess we were supposed to boot off just by doing that reset thing first. We'll connect a recovery device, and there, now we are, yeah, checking for an official recovery image. Found, validating official recovery image. Alright, looking good. So it's beginning the system image copy now. This will take some time. And it's completed. It's asking us to remove the recovery devices and reboot, and it will automatically reboot in 2 minutes. Okay, so it's got a pretty long timer there. So I'm just gonna honestly wait the 2 minutes just to make sure it doesn't need to, you know, finish anything up. Well, that's not a good sign. It just brought us back to the recovery screen. Yeah, hopefully it's not missing or damaged, but we're gonna just do a forced power off, I guess, and try to restart, you know, hopefully actually boot into the system. Yeah, okay, this is not looking good. I wonder if this button, did I like jam this button down? Let's see. Nope, that is not forced in. So apparently the version of ChromeOS on here now is damaged. But I mean, you saw it was able to verify that it was a valid image. So I don't know why that it's not able to boot from it, but it's not able to boot from it. So I guess we'll plug in the USB drive again and have it go through the recovery process once more. And let me actually press, so Control-Alt F1 through F3, which I'm guessing is going to be these 3 keys here. Or, well, let's see. Okay, there we go. So now we can actually see all the verbose messages of what it's doing. Although, do we have to do that again here? F2... Oh, I see. Okay, okay. So it's like different modes. So F1 is just the standard display, and then F2 shows you a little bit more, and F3, I guess, shows you even more. It's copying kernel, copying rootfs. Let's go back to the first one. Recovery's beginning. It, again, checked for the official recovery image. It completed validation, and then now it's beginning system image copy. Maybe this image wasn't made for the CR-48. I mean, I downloaded it from the recovery page, you know, from that archived page that was for the CR-48. So it should work with it, but I'm thinking maybe like it sees it as a valid ChromeOS recovery image, but maybe it's just not for this computer, which seems weird because it literally had CR-48 in the name, or Mario, which is the internal name for this. But yeah, this all seems fine. Beginning system image copy. This will take some time. Okay, I saw it said that it finished, and this is like it counting down right now for the sleep timer, or not the sleep timer, but the reboot timer, so it's doing that, and it'll automatically reboot in 2 minutes. Dev SDB3 can now be safely removed, which is the USB drive. So, okay, let's try to just power it off, which I guess you can do. No, see, I don't want to, like, force power it off. I guess you can, but, like, I don't know. I mean, do you press enter to reboot? Like, there is no reboot key. It just says please remove and reboot, but it'll reboot automatically in 2 minutes. Yeah, that's not good at all. I thought this was going to be simple. See, this is again me getting way too optimistic for a video on this channel. But yeah, it seemed like everything was working fine. Like, where's the problem? I guess, I don't know. Let's just plug it in here again. I'll let it go through this, just not touch it. And I'm gonna do some research on the system behind me and see if I can figure something out. Alright, well, as it turns out, it looks like I'm not the only person trying to restore my CR-48 back to factory settings, because somebody posted on Reddit as of 1 month ago, which is pretty crazy, asking for the original recovery image for the first version of ChromeOS, and somebody replied with a link to this Blogspot article, or blog over on Blogspot. This post was made on December 18th, 2010, and it's a guide showing you how to restore your CR-48 to factory settings. And what's crazy about this is they link to the recovery image from Google, and this is still hosted on their servers. You don't even have to go through the Internet Archive at all, but I did confirm this is the exact same image that we already downloaded. Yeah, so you can download this image from Google. I tried just for the heck of it to download this one, burn that, or write that to the USB drive. I even tried a different USB drive and went through that recovery process again, and the exact same thing happened. So I thought, okay, maybe there's something else going on here. Well, then I found this other Reddit post of somebody asking for the original BIOS for the CR-48 prototype Chromebook, because in this Reddit post here, somebody mentioned like, hey, this probably isn't going to work with firmware updates since it was released, and I said, huh, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe the firmware on this thing was updated and it's just not able to work with this older version of ChromeOS. So I thought maybe the BIOS had something to do with it, and then somebody mentioned that the original CR-48 wiki, although it's gone now, has been archived by the Internet Archive. So you can just go here and download the entire wiki, all the files that were hosted on it, which is awesome, or you could just access it from the Wayback Machine, which I did here. This was over on wikispaces.com, and this is a very useful repository of just a whole bunch of information relating to the CR-48, how to put other operating systems on it. Maybe that'll be worth doing at some point. And sure enough, they have a guide here showing you how to flash the BIOS, which the first part of that is showing you how to put an alternate BIOS on it. But then if you scroll down here, they show you how to restore it back to its original factory BIOS, and they provide bin images for both of the CR-48 models. Mine is a Pony model. I love these model names, by the way, that they're coming up with. But the unfortunate thing is this requires you to install Linux on your CR-48 and then use flash ROM to write the BIOS image, this bin file here, just on the device itself. Now, installing Linux is a whole nother can of worms, and the first thing it tells you to do is put your CR-48 into developer mode, and this was the first time that I'd heard that mentioned. I was like, huh, developer mode, I wonder what that does. Well, setting your CR-48 to developer mode requires you to take out the battery, and there's a little piece of tape that you can remove, and there's a switch under it that you switch to enable developer mode, and then you put the battery back in and turn on the computer. And notably, on first boot, if it's in developer mode, it will wipe itself and replace the image with a developer copy. So that got me thinking, huh, maybe I could just try that, and we'll see if it can just do like an on-system restore, and maybe get past whatever problem that it was having. And believe it or not, that actually worked. So here we are in ChromeOS version 0.12.433, blah, blah, blah. There's the whole version string down there. So yeah, we're going to go through the setup process here and see how far we can get. So it looks like we do have to select a network, so we'll just connect to my Wi-Fi network here. Can we just disable Wi-Fi? I'm curious if we can like just go... no, yeah, we have to connect to a network, I guess, to be able to advance through this. And yeah, now we can actually click on continue. We've got our terms. Sure, Google, you can collect some hardware data from this thing, why not? And of course, it's immediately going to check for updates, which this is what I was kind of worried about and why I didn't want to connect it to the network. But it very well may not be able to get any updates because, you know, those servers might have migrated, which is what I'm hoping for at this point. We'll have to see if, you know, if it tries to update immediately, we'll try and see if there's a way to bypass, you know, that network requirement at the beginning. Oh, and it just went right past that. Okay. So I don't know if this is actually going to work. There is a guest option down here. Yeah, let's just do that for now. We'll just sign in and browse as a guest. And oh my gosh. Yeah, this is back when ChromeOS was literally just a full-screen web browser. This is crazy to see today, because, I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, ChromeOS looks so different now, as I'm sure you guys know. But yeah, this was my first experience using ChromeOS. I actually messed around with this in a virtual machine. I want to say in like 2009 or 2010, before this hardware even existed. You could download, like, they were sort of like ChromeOS distros. There was one called ChromeOS Cherry, and it looked pretty much just like this. It was a full screen web browser. But we can go in here, view the about information. Yeah, let's just see what we got. So this is firmware Mario ChromeOS 0.12.433.99 official build beta channel, Google Chrome 12.0. Oh my gosh, that is so freaking old. And it's checking for updates once again down there. Well, it thinks it's up to date. Okay, which, yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. I would think if, you know, it couldn't connect to the servers anymore, because they've probably been migrated however many times since this was released, that it would tell you, like, it couldn't establish a connection. But it thinks it's up to date. But yeah, these are all the settings you got. Yeah, you've got like some touchpad settings, and then under internet, this is where you can choose what wireless network that you're connected to. And yeah, this is so cool to see, because I've been wanting to do a video. Like, I was trying to find, like I just mentioned, ChromeOS Cherry. I've been trying to find an image of that for months now, and I just cannot find one. All the links that I found are completely dead. It hasn't been archived. I wanted just to fire that up on an old computer and mess around with old ChromeOS. Little did I know, all I had to do was restore the CR-48 to factory settings. And again, this is not the original OS, but it's certainly pretty close to it. So let's see if we can just, you know, go to google.com. I mean, we are on the internet. Of course, Google is going to load fine. We can try to go to, let's just go to YouTube and see. I guarantee you it's going to have, oh yeah, it's going to immediately complain about, you have an unsupported browser. Please download something, which... How did downloads work on this? Because I don't really think there's like a file browser. Okay, yeah, but you can view downloads here. Okay, that's right. That's right. It was literally just this download window that... This is exactly how it looked in Chrome back then, I'm pretty sure. So if you try to download something, it'll show here. And then I guess when you clear all, it just goes away. Does it delete it? Of course, we are in a guest session, so that's going to limit some, so like there's certain things you can't do, even today in ChromeOS. Like, you can't basically save any of your settings. As soon as you leave the guest mode, it just, you know, resets it back as soon as you log into it again. But let's see if we can even just go to YouTube. I know I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but I'm genuinely excited, like, to, even though this is probably a pretty boring OS at this point, it's just crazy to see this again. It's been so long. Yeah, so YouTube, not surprisingly, does not really want to work. It's trying to load. You can see the like outline for the thumbnails and the video titles and everything, but I can't click on anything. And the page has finished loading according to Chrome. Of course, you know, we can go to the old net, a classic that we must do on this channel. And yeah, of course, that page loads up just fine. So, okay, just for the heck of it, I highly doubt this is going to work, but let's try to exit this guest session and log in to a Google account and see if this still works. The thing is, I do have two-factor authentication on here. Before signing in, please start a guest session to activate the network. What? I was just in a guest session, and we are online. What the... Okay. Alright, you know what? I have a feeling. Let me just type out some gibberish here and sign in, and it does that exact same thing. Okay, so that confirms that it thinks we're offline trying to sign in because it can no longer authenticate. So that just straight up doesn't work anymore. So you can't even sign in to a Google account on this old version of ChromeOS. Good to know. But what happens if you try to create one? Yeah, so it just loads the page in the guest mode. Well, what else is there to talk about? We can go back into settings here and I guess explore this a little bit more. We already saw, yeah, basics, personal stuff. You can change your account picture and stuff like that, which this, you know, wouldn't save or anything. Oh yeah, and there is a camera, so we could do that. And there's the camera, so that works. Pretty cool. Let's cancel out of that. I'm still kind of curious about the whole download stuff, because, I mean, obviously nothing saves here in guest mode, but like if we go to just Google and then go to the download page or save page as here, it will come up, okay, yeah, with a, like we can view files here, and then we have file shelf and external storage. Okay, so if you plugged in a like USB drive, you could view that there. So there are ways to open up like a file browser, but this is all you get. So the file shelf will save that, and then how do we access I guess it's under to show all downloads, but nothing even showed up in here. Like, yeah, I don't think there's a way to view the file browser. Let's just open this Google image in a new tab and save image as. Okay, well, it shows up in here in the file shelf, but let's save it as, I don't want to save it as google.html, and I wasn't paying attention to the file extension. What is it, a PNG? Yeah, so we'll save, maybe we can't save it. Oh, there we go, now it showed up. Okay, save. There we go, now that showed up in downloads, show all downloads, and then there it is. Show in folder. Okay, so you can get to the file browser like in a full window here. And I guess, yeah, can you just type / in here to open that up? No, you can't, but I'm thinking you might be able to use like the file extension or just the file : / prefix. But we got to figure out what what's in file shelf here. Okay, downloads. So let's try that. File / downloads. If I can spell right. No, we can't even do that. So you have to download something and then click on show in folder for you to actually get to this. Because I mean, yeah, nothing even shows up here in the Omnibox when you're in this page. So yeah, that is, you can make new folders and stuff too and do all that kind of stuff. But I mean, like I mentioned, in fact, just to verify that, now that we got some stuff downloaded, let's exit the guest session and see if it wipes all that. Yeah, and it is wiped. So file shelf and nothing in there. So it does get rid of your files when you're in the guest mode, which makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much wraps it up for this actually successful video. We did hit a little bit of a bump in the road, but we got it working in the end. And now this old CR-48 is probably as close to its original state as it is ever going to get, unless of course somebody's able to come along someday with the original restore image. Even still, I think this is awesome just to see the ChromeOS in this really, really early state, because it doesn't even look like the same operating system nowadays, just, you know, from how far it's come. But yeah, if you guys found this one interesting, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get early, sponsor-free access to my videos before anybody else. But either way, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.